And for your information, Dr. Casey Tan has a PhD in counseling psychology, and she's a registered counselor. She has been doing counseling for more than 30 years, and she joined doTERRA like 4 years ago, right, doctor? And since then, she has been sharing the benefits of EO through her practices and help many people to manage their emotional challenge. So we are very happy to have Dr. Tan here today, who are willing to share with us the topic about how we manage our emotion with essential oil. But before I pass this session to Dr. Tan, I would like to inform that if you have any question by the end of this event, you may write it to the group chat and we will collect and choose. But do know that normally when we do answering question, we will make sure the questions are not so sensitive and it is suitable with the topic. So, and sometimes if the time permits, we will choose a few out of the few. So Dr. Tan.
Yes.
I'll pass the session now to you. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, Faizal. Hello, all my dear doTERRA friends. How are you today? I'm so glad to see all of you here, and thank you for joining. So first of all, I want to send my best wishes and my energy to each of you, wherever you are. I want you to stay healthy, stay happy, and then bonding with your family or whoever that you are living with. And later on in my sharing, if you find it too hard to understand, especially on emotional side, so please don't get discouraged. If you can't understand the first E, you focus on the second E, which is the essential oil. And I promise I try not to make it boring for you and then not to make you fall asleep. I know now is a time that is nice to take a nap, but thank you so much for taking the effort to join us. And I believe we are in a family of sharing, and we want to share our knowledge, and we want to help people around us understanding essential oil and how this is going to change their life. So I will off my video and move on to share. Can you still hear me clearly? If you are able to hear me clearly, can you put a Y? Thank you. So Faizal, okay, right?
Yes, doctor. Your voice is clear. Good to go.
Clear. Okay, clear. So that I afraid that if the voice not loud and clear, and I think now is a time that I think most people are very sleepy. So I got to talk a bit louder. So first I will start off with my disclaimer statements. So please be informed that all the things shared here is mainly based on my own personal experience, and the suggestions of products are not intended to diagnose or treat or cure or prevent any diseases. And also the suggested use of essential oil is to support our body holistically by assisting our natural immune system and also promoting internal balance. So I move on to start our topic, which is on emotions. So as you look at your right side, so there are different types of emotions. Which one you think you are in now? I think many of us are so used to all this emoji, but then do we really understand fully what is emotions? So if you Google, and I think Wikipedia will give you these definitions. So emotions as defined as in a state which is associated with the nervous system and brought on by neurophysiological changes. So neuro, as you know, is about brain, and also physiological is about our body. So if let's say pathological means is a body or it is an issue or problem, but normal, it is called physiological. So it's a normal bodily brain reactions when we are triggered off, and this is emotions. And often it also comes with thoughts, feelings, and of course our responses, which is in our bodily. So, and here say some emotions are pleasant or pleasure. It gives us pleasure, and some we will try to run away because it's not comfortable for us. But then either type is still emotions. So now I want you to take a look on these two types of personality, and then maybe you evaluate for yourself. Are you introverted or more extroverted? Perhaps you, if you are willing to share with us, you put I. If you think you are introverted, if you think you are extroverted, put an E. And how to define introverted? Introverted is not like when you are quiet or you don't talk a lot, but it's more you draw your energy by being alone. So you like to sometimes have your quiet time, quiet spot. And it seems like sometimes you are a bit of socially withdrawn, like try to isolate, distance from people. And for your information, I was introverted. I was born very, very introverted. And I feel like I don't like to share a lot of my emotions with people, unless it is people whom I'm very, very close with, then I will share a lot. But with stranger, normally I will not go very deep. So that is introverted. And basically, I like time alone. I like to travel alone. And I like to do a lot of things alone because I enjoy those things that I have time for myself. But of course, there are times also you cannot be alone, like when you are with your family members, with your colleagues, and you got to relate to them. But then as a person, you prefer to be on your own and you draw energy by being alone. So please understand, it's just not we are quiet, but then we like to recharge our energy by being alone. So if you think that you are this category, put an I. Where else the other category, extroverted, are those people who like to hang out, who like to go for party, who likes to have a lot of events. So, and you know, if you marry or you are working together with someone who is contrast with you, and then you will have a lot of conflicts, because then you will feel like, why are both of you not having same directions? Because the extroverted like to have a lot of activities, but then introverted just like to stay at home. So this is the differences. So perhaps in your own time, then you try to analyze and find for yourself whether you are introverted and or extroverted. If you really want to do a test, which also maybe make it more accurate for yourself, and there's this test called 16 personality types, and it is free. You could go online and do a score. But of course, so there are tests which also like with a payment like MBTI, Myers-Briggs personality types, that indications that you could score, and then you could also pay to analyze. But then today we are not going too deep on introverted or extroverted, just for you to know why we are different from other people. So these are the main two category of people that sometimes we see around us. So how we respond or how emotion bring us since we are born is also based on our behavioral tendency. If I'm more introverted, then of course I don't share a lot of my emotions, but then actually behind that introverted people will reflect more on their emotions, because introverted people are those that like to think deeper, like to make sense of the things, because they want to really connect deep. So introverted people will take a lot of time, energy to build what we call intrapersonal. Intra means within yourself. Like people like to spend a lot of money, go for soul searching, go for finding meaning in life. Whereas extroverted, they are not so much wanting to go deep. So if your partner and you are on the two different sides, then perhaps you will have a lot of tensions, because you will maybe like complain why, if let's say the spouse is extroverted, especially now during this time, he can't stay home. He always say, make excuses. He want to go marketing. He wants to go and do this chore, do that chore, because he just don't feel comfortable staying home. Whereas for us who are very introverted, we really like to stay at home. So thank you so much for all of you who share your answer. I really treasure your personal response here, because I don't want just to talk to myself, but I really want this lesson is going to help you at least know a bit more about psychology, or maybe it's a starting of you digging deeper into psychology, or perhaps for some of us who are stuck in a relationship, perhaps this is the beginning of us seeing some transformations in our relationships. So why is emotion so important? We often heard about emotional intelligence, but do we really understand what is emotion intelligence? So many years ago, I think about 20 years ago, people started to introduce multiple intelligence. That time I gave birth to my 3 children. I told myself, I don't want to miss out on this, because as a parent, you want your child to grow up being balanced, having all the multiple intelligence. So I went on to study. And then I have my last child, who is born very challenging emotionally, because he was a left-hander. And then he has so much emotional issues that I myself find so hard to handle. Although I was also a counselor for many years, but then I feel puzzled why I just can't help my son. And he was my younger son at the time. So then I went on to study, took courses on emotional intelligence. Then only I know how important emotion in our life, especially in a family, because in a family, we talk about bonding. We talk about relating to one another and emotions. And later on, you're going to see the different area of emotion, which is going to play so much importantly in your relationship. Because if we don't learn emotion intelligence, just like many of my friends told me, I'm very good in emotional intelligence, and they always say EQ. They say they are good in EQ. Why? They say, I have no emotions. I hardly get angry. I hardly feel sorrow. That's why my EQ is so good. But then I feel very sorry for him, especially men. So sorry I got to say this, because men always say, women are very emotional. Of course, we are not stereotyped, but then we have to admit, as women, we are born more emotional, and it is not wrong. I took almost 30 years to discover about my emotion, and I know it's not wrong. And in fact, I can channel it into a form of new intelligence. And in fact, emotional intelligence is the hub, means it's the center of all other intelligence. Despite of how good you are, your child even is a genius, IQ high, but then if EQ it is low, it's going to affect so much. As you know, hub is the center. It's just like a wheel. In a wheel, the hub, the center is the one that going to make every poop able to work nicely as a whole. So you have other intelligence like, okay, arithmetic, which is mathematics. You have spatial, which is artistic. You have kinesthetic, which is bodily. And then you have emotional. And then you have now naturalistic. So all this intelligence, if not held by the hub, the center, emotional wisdom, at the end, it will all become scattered. That's why we say, despite of how smart the child is, if let's say we are not training them from beginning, acknowledge their emotions. I think as growing up, if a child are not being supported emotionally, I think in long run, they are going to lose out because they will just perform like your computer or a machine. They are so intelligent and we are not lacking in all these devices. We have encyclopedia, we have like all the gadget can help us find all the knowledge, but we want our child, we as human being, we have this part of us, emotion that make us real. But then oftentimes it is so challenging because emotional, like many people heard, especially there's this saying in Chinese, emotion is the one that actually can let you feel smoothly in your life, or it can overturn you in your life. So why it is so? Because if let's say emotions is not handled, governed properly, it's going to be like a storm. It's going to be like a wave that washes away. At the end, we will be scattered with all other intelligence, but they're not able to perform as a person. We heard of genius who died young at age of 30 because he was not able to emotionally secure because he has no friend. I think he struggled so much, and I think he passed away many years ago. I really feel sad. So now that's why we are here, wanting to coach all adults about emotion intelligence, so that although you don't have children of your own, but then you do have your nieces, you do have your nephews, you do have a lot of children with you. And in fact, many of us, we could be the contributor to children who do not receive proper nurturance from the parent. That's why we need to learn this topic together. And what is more importantly, emotion is always a driving force behind all motivation and passions. If you want your child or even your maybe subordinate to work passionately, hardworking, it is not by you scolding them a lot, but by you motivate them, by you instill the passion in their heart, so that they will run, they will fight, they will not give up. So, but of course today, I will focus more on psychology. And in fact, I love philosophy so much. And then also, I must also like, let you know, I'm not medical doctor, but my doctorate is in philosophy. I love philosophy from young. I like to study about human knowledge. I like to study social science, anthropology, and all the things about human being. So then that's how I ended up in this journey. So if you look into psychology, because psychology is studying about us human being, our mind, how it related to our behavior. And we see a lot of weird behavior. Why is it so? So we want to know. We want to know what governs behind all this. So philosophy, you know, is knowledge that actually help us to systematically study on that domain. So emotion in psychology, we know that include very subjective and conscious experience. And it is also characterized by psychophysiological. Psycho, you know, is about human being. Physiological means it's more than our feeling and mind, but it is also our bodily. So it has to be three: mind, body, and emotions. These three has to combine. So I give an example because I think now we are in this situation, MCO. So this is our conscious experience. Conscious means everybody know about it, means it's not secret, it is not hidden, and everyone is aware. Everyone know what is happening. So this is conscious. But then why the experience is subjective? Why? That's how we talk about our personality. Because our personality or our makeup are so different. So we receive the same experience, but then we have different kind of outlook on this experience. That's why I love this quote that many people say, our external world is a projection of our internal world. So what I see the world is actually how what I have inside or what I project onto these things that I see. So, and then I think we could easily categorize at this stage, we see most people are very stressed. But why some people, they are not stressed, they are relaxed. But of course, I think we got to acknowledge, we got to fully understand, empathetic about those people who are really stressed, even though you are relaxed. Like for me, I'm very relaxed, I enjoy. But then I really feel very sorrowful at this time because I know a lot of people is going to lose their job. I know a lot of people is going to have tough life. I know the market is going to be so bad. And moreover, there are so many people die. So this is our stress. So of course we want to balance so that even though we are stressed, we try to maintain so that the stress will not interfere us so much until at the end it ruins our health. So that's why it's so important you know where you are and you adjust accordingly so that we are not procrastinating and we think that we are very relaxed, but actually we are very stressed. So you look at this case, if MCO, those who are stressed, of course they feel anxious. Of course they become depressed. I already have many friends, now they told me they can't sleep at night and their heartbeat very fast. So insomnia, as you know, can't sleep, suffocated, and sometimes they feel the chest very pain. We don't go and blame them why they behave like that because it is the stress that manifested bodily. So maybe now we also do a survey. How many of you feel like you are in this stress situation? If you don't mind, you just write an S. But if you are still very relaxed, very good, you also put an R. So if you will do a survey now, I think unless you really don't care, none will be stressless. All of us are stressed, especially mother, because mother has to stay at home. They have to work like normal and they have to cook with the child like naughty behavior and then all the cooking. And as a mother, the most difficult job is not about cooking, but it's about discipline your children. So this day also I came out in Facebook, I started to talk about how to help our children discipline, but no need to spank them, because later on we talk about why sometimes mother outbursts and then become so angry. So it is the part of emotions that often we do not wish to see on us, but it became ugly. So that's why it's so important for us to understand. So even like this group of people, when they are stressed, their heart beat fast, and then the HP, the blood pressure also fast. So then we have to understand. So now we actually ask them to take out the most expensive oil. And it also happened to my children, although I diffuse day long, day and night I diffuse in my house because I have my son, accountant, work very hard. I know the stress, and then moreover, we know we have friends outside already infected with COVID-19. So then this hard sometimes. Once they asked me, how is it like dying of COVID-19? It's not like we are afraid of dying, but then I think somehow we start to ponder about death. So then I pull out my Melissa, I pull out my frankincense. So one drop each and apply. So now talk too far because I already talked too much on the using of essential. But at the end, as I told you earlier, even though you forgot everything about what I share here, doesn't matter. You don't know what is emotion, doesn't matter. Just remember to use essential, especially for those who are very stressed. Use Melissa. If you don't have Melissa, use Lycia, and also use frankincense. And of course, I know many of you also experienced in your doTERRA journey, and then you have many recipes. So then it's also good that collectively we could share here your recipe and your experience, how you overcome your stress. So I'm going to talk about these three areas that actually cover emotions. First is mood. This is the part that most of us are familiar. because this is the conscious experience. Conscious means you are aware. Just like when you're angry, you're aware. When you're sad, you're aware. When you're bored, you're aware. So you're conscious. So you know. So I hope until now nobody feels sleepy because sometimes theory is hard to understand. So I wish to also give you some maybe games later on. So I think many of you, and I see many of you here are already so experienced in using essential oil. In fact, I do need to teach you so much because maybe you are in doTERRA longer than me. So I know that doTERRA had this mood mapping. If you have seen this mood mapping, please put 2Y. I know many of you use it before. I know Forrest Chu is very good in using this one. So many of you use this before. Yeah, thank you so much. So now you look at it, maybe you feel like you might not see like you have a lot of emotions, but then you just look at here. So which one you think you have more? And then if you have pen, so maybe you write down. So normally I will give out this slip and then I ask my member to circle and then I list you to the next one. Then you will see what essential oil you need to use. So if you're on the stress part, you know what essential oil to use? So you use balance. So I know all of you are very familiar with all this. And I know Joshua is here also. Joshua is also expert in using all this oil, elevations, scissors please, and the last one actually is lavender peace that in this chart is called serenity. So I go through very quickly. So just now you roughly know what category of oil you need to use. And I know most of you who are long in doTERRA, you are very familiar with these 4 oils. But in case you are new, then I let you see what is in this oil. So citrus please basically has all the powerful full oil on citrus, including bergamot. And we know that it is very uplifting, invigorating, and very good to support our heart. Elevations, who love elevation? Because I know not a lot of people love elevations, but if you like elevation, please put 3Y. Yeah, so I know most of you love this oil. Why this oil is so special? I came across someone who compared our oil with their company oil. She disliked all the oil in our company. But then elevation or elation is the one that she found so in love with. Personally, I also love this oil so much because this oil has one very good ingredient. I know all of you are also aware is the Melissa, and also osmanthus is the oil that you cannot buy unless you got the touch. So once I applied this oil early morning, and then my friend came to my house. We are on the way to a holiday. And then she walked past my house. She came in my house. And then she asked me, you planted osmanthus in your house? I said, what? Because I use elevation. And then she smelled osmanthus in my house. She thought I planted osmanthus. And you know, osmanthus is the most precious, expensive ingredients that use in a lot of perfume. So then it's a good oil to use. Elevations. Then the follow one is balance. Balance, most of us also very familiar. So many people ask about balance and adaptive. Why is it different? Later, maybe I will explain why is it different. Balance, as you know, is also very powerful oil. And then, as you are aware, then there was this experiment done by Dr. Hill. He put a drop of balance and then he applied at the bottom of the feet, and then after 30 seconds, we could see in the slide the difference of plasma. The red blood cell from all stuck together, it become all oxygenate, means it became full of oxygen. So by you using balance, you will allow your red blood cell healthy and circulate well. And then the new balance, the fragrance is so nice because it added osmanthus. When we started use balance without osmanthus, but now all the new batch is with osmanthus. And this one, lavender peace, I must tell you about lavender peace because this is the oil that we promote so much for children in learning. So I see a lot of children with ADHD, means attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, means they cannot sit still and study, and also autistic. And then how I ended up sharing essential oil with them 4.5 years ago, because I read somewhere that there are these 3 things that help and support autistic and ADHD children so much, which is cedarwood, lavender, and vetiver. So those of you, if you have friends who are having these issues with ADHD, please introduce them either lavender peace or vetiver, cedarwood, and lavender. So then that's how I started sharing with my client's mother. And you know what response that I got? Because I have this mother who has 3 children, 2 ADHD, and the last one autistic. And when I brought autistic to see me was 3 years old. I knew something was not right, because the first one, although I seen the first one also from 3 years old, but his size is much smaller than the brother. The brother who is 8 years old, taller than him who is 10 years old. So I knew I need to do something for this family, not for the autistic son only, but also for these 2 ADHD siblings. So I asked mother to buy a set. So mother also believed me what they said, and then mother used, and then mother came back to me, because normally in therapy we'll see them in either fortnightly or once a month. So after she came back, she told me, she said, I asked my son, how is it like after I diffuse for you? And the son said, see, at night I sleep better and I don't wake up easily. So I think we already very happy, right? When we heard answer like that. But you know, most mother, they are not concerned on that only. She went on. So this mother went on to ask the son, how about in your study? You know what the son responded? The son said, it's like my brain opened up and easily find answer. So from that day onward, I told myself I need to share with every mother, because this is going to be the oil, especially lavender, that helps so much in the children's learning. So of course, when you share, there are also a lot of mothers don't believe on you. They don't believe us, doesn't matter. Our job is only to share. So this is also important oil. So then now you see, you already have this 4 oil that is so important. Even though if you think that you don't have emotions, you don't have the mood, you still need to use, because they're going to bring you to this olfactory pathway. And many of you heard about Carrie yesterday, and she talked so much. And even if you join the leader retreat, and then Dr. Hill talked a lot on olfactory pathway. Why is it so powerful? Because olfactory pathway, olfactory system is the one that connect our brain. And also it helps so much in our limbic system when we start to diffuse, because this part of brain is in charge of memories and emotions. So I'm going to bring you through, because many of you heard about it already, how it's important for every mother to diffuse for the children. Because by you diffusing oil for the children, you in fact help them so much with their well-being and also emotions. So nowadays people told us not to always emphasize on the effectiveness of essential oil, because we don't want to get blamed after they use. If let's say their high blood pressure not getting cured, or their cancer not getting recovered, we can't save their life because it was like final stage. But at least we need to promote this one. The moment parents start to diffuse, it enhances children's well-being, even the mother's well-being. Look at this photo. It's not photo, diagram. If you look at your olfactory, it's just like it has a lot of bulb-like kind of tissue. From here, it will send to Do you see the orange color at the back? Amygdala. If you could find amygdala, and this is a powerful place that if you forget everything now, this is the place that you must remember. Amygdala holds all the anxiety, all the stress, all the emotions. And then we know that it affects so much other part of our brain in hypothalamus. So this part of brain that function like chemistry that we couldn't explain, but then scientists already explain to us how our neuron functions. That's why we need to know at least a bit. So in summary, so smell is so important because you have memory that get triggered off by your smell. And then your olfactory is the part of your organ that able to repair or improve or bring into wellness this part of your limbic system. So this is the first part, why it is so important. We have to use essential oil, we have to diffuse it day and night, especially now because children are anxious. A lot of people are stressful, even in daytime. It's good also to diffuse. Second part, I want to bring you to this area most people are not aware of because most people think that emotions is about mood, about feeling, but in fact, emotion is more than your mood because your thought, despite of whether you realize or not, are governed by your emotions. So your thought is also part of your unconscious emotions. And in fact, your choice, many choices that you make is also part of your emotions that govern or influence your choice in life. So here, we want to tell you that emotions is not mainly mood. That's why it's important for us to study because this part emotions and is also shaped culturally, means how you were brought up and also with traumatized experience. Some of us were traumatized, doesn't mean like we got like physical abuse, that kind of thing, but many of us have experienced emotionally abuse. We are being named, we are being teased. All this is also part of traumatized experience. So then this emotion is kept in our brain. Later on, I'm going to show you where this part of brain is kept. That's why we provide psychotherapy for people who are willing to work through their emotions. Or sometimes they are forced to because they are stuck in certain point of their life. Either they are stuck in relationship or they are stuck in their mood because they are depressed, suicidal. So they came and see us, we provide psychotherapy. But then those who never had chance to do psychotherapy, might be years. Even we repeat the same pattern again and again. That's why we say our DNA cannot change because the same pattern, the behavior, and also our personality never change and always repeat. Why? Because we are governed by this part of hidden emotions or what we call unconscious emotions. Later on, I'm going to give you a small test in case that I think some of you maybe feel boring already. Then I lead you to the next test. But before that, I give you this example. Maybe you wonder if let's say a mother suddenly became very angry because the children are so naughty and then outburst and then scream, scolded the children. So what emotion is that? Is it angry? So of course it is angry. But is there something else? Is it mainly angry? So many mothers struggle many years and many children thought their mother are angry with them, but in fact it is not only angry. Behind the anger is sorrow, is sadness because mother is just sad. Why my child behave like that? Why my child is not listening? Why my child is not obedient? So this is the real emotions of a mother. And many times is hidden because we only heard about mother scream and scold and then angry, but then we fail to see behind. So I want to bring you to this part of the brain called hippocampus. If you study psychology before, and you know that this is the part of brain that hold long-term memory. So it hold at least more than 12 years. So imagine if even infant, as you grow up, you have some experiences that you were wounded, it will be forever following us, because this is the part of brain will hold a lot of the pent out emotions. So why some children cannot study? Because when this part of brain is infected, we know that it's going to affect our learning. So I show you this part of brain, which is in red color, which is very important, called hippocampus. A lot of people have impairment. When impairment happen, that's why when you tell them nicely, they will not listen. Why they need to come to do psychotherapy? Because they are wounded, that's why they don't listen. So they need a trusting relationship in psychotherapy in order to repair. And now I tell you, by you using essential oil, you are able to repair this part. And you look at this child, this brain start from infancy until childhood and teenage and come to adulthood, already gather a lot of memory. And some memory is wounded in hippocampus. That's why we need to diffuse, so that this child can get a second chance to repair whatever wound. That as a mother, sometimes we are not perfect. Sometimes we have our own emotions that we might be doing something not pleasant and we feel regret. But then now we are given a chance to repair by diffuse and allow this part of brain which is wounded called hippocampus to repair. And now I'm going to give you a small exercise. You look at this picture here, and then you choose a color for sofa. Doesn't matter what color. And in fact, you look at this sofa, and then you choose from these 6. Why these 6? Because just now, as you look at the sofa, actually, I adopt from a very famous aromatherapist from Japan. So she used it for psychological tests to see what is your unconscious color. So let you choose first if you're willing to review your answer. So thank you so much. I saw all your answer. So later on, I'm going to bring you through quickly. So in fact, why I say it's unconscious, because this is maybe that part of your body that's trying to hint you something you need to pay attention to. So now we are going to, so before that, I must also tell you there's no right or wrong, because all are okay. There's no perfect answer. Maybe today you choose this color, another day you will choose a different color. So if let's say you have blue, like Beyond has blue, so you start to diffuse blue. So if you have other color, you also can diffuse other color. And what I sometimes do is also, I put everything in a box and then I just pick out a color. I just pick up a bottle and I use it. So you are able to use the color to diffuse. As you look at this 6, later on we're going to go quickly, because I think most of you who answer, you already had this set with you. If you don't have yet, this is the perfect set as Mother's Day gift for your mother. Once a mother has this set, a mother will start to be a wise mother. So why it is so important? Or sometimes in my counseling setting, I ask my depressed client to pick one, and then they pick one. And sometimes they go through all the smell, and then they smell, and then they get the one they like. Then I will let them use it. So I quickly go through. If let's say blue is more, if let's say we study our body, it's on our throat area. So maybe we need to pay attention to the throat area. And this is a good oil, because as with vetiver, Console is also one that I love the most. And in fact, I have so much sharing on Console, but because of time constraint, I think I won't go into detail. So it's my best oil, Console. And as you know, it has all the expensive oil, osmanthus, sandalwood. Forgive is an oil that every mother needs. And I have a lot of great mother, they told me, they always use Forgive. Despite of how difficult you are dealing with the child, this is the oil is going to make a miracles in your child-parent relationships. And patience is the oil that will give your child and yourself the sense of directions, and also passionate about building relationship with people. And also cheer. Cheer, we use it a lot for depressed people because it has all the oil for uplifting and also change our mood. And motivate, as you see, it has Melissa, is also a great oil that every child has to use, because sometimes children being playful and they are not motivated to study. But of course, if you have doTERRA kids, and then we are so blessed, we know that set also can substitute, because they could use it because it is touch. They could use it as they like. So the next one, I think many of you heard before. Carrie and even Fionn talk so much on our mental states, and in emotions it's also integrated and associated with our mental states. So even though you think that you don't have mood, your moods are very steady, and you are not keen to discover deeper about your emotions because you don't bother, but then you still need to know, because mental stage, it is about your mental wellness. It is not only you not falling sick, but you are seeing hope in all circumstances. Especially now, we know that it is a tough time. Many people are stressed because of this pandemic disease, and many people are seeing a lot of limitations. And of course, the stress and living together in a small space, that you start to see conflicts between one another in relationships, then it is not possible if we are not like experience any changes in our neuroscience or neuropsychology. As our brain are very complicated, I think Dr. Hill and then Carrie discussed so much about this part, and we know that although we are not able to understand every cell because there are millions of cells, but at least we need to know about neuroscience of stress, which Carrie talked so much on this part. So if you look at this stress or cortisol side, epinephrine and cortisol are the stress hormones that when we are stressed, which have you knowledge or not, this hormone is released. Cortisol is a steroid hormone that helping you to cope with stress. As you remember, Carrie talked about sympathetic response and parasympathetic response. So when a person is in stress, which mood you are in? Is it S or P? S means sympathetic. Means you got to prepare yourself for fight or flight. And we have to be empathetic when people are under stress. They are in sympathetic mood. That's why they can't sleep. That's why they easily get angry, because the body already can't cope. They are facing fight or flight. Flight means they will run away. They will always play computer, or they like to find excuses to go out. They don't want to talk to you. If flight means they will fight, they will just argue with you. So this, whatever fight or flight is sympathetic. So now we want to see about this stress loop. So in fact, you see, not only during COVID-19, in fact, chronic stress are happening in our lives when you don't have enough sleep. You slept very late at 3 a.m., you having inadequate sleep. And when you don't eat correctly, you eat Maggie mee. And when you always quarrel with your friend, in fact, it's bad, because your body often has to work towards the, you see, what is important in our brain chemistry. After stress, the chemical response, physiological means bodily changes, either we scold people or we run away, but the good way is go and exercise and we stabilize, and then our body becomes balanced. So then many years I work with a lot of adults and children on anxiety. Even though we are not stressed, we know that most of us have anxiety. How anxiety happens? Because when we are capable of think a lot, that's where our anxiety are high. So I always deal with a lot of anxiety disorder patients, either depressions, OCD. OCD means obsessive compulsive disorder. Either they always wash their hand or they always repeatedly, continually doing something. Even people very hygiene about something, they always clean maybe certain things at home. Like some of the housewife, it could be a sign of OCD, or I have my severe OCD client who bathe like 4 hours in the bathroom, who has to see a psychiatrist and also take a lot of medications. And he can't even study. He dropped out from A-level, from diploma. So at the end came for therapy. And then when he was in my clinic, he has to wash hand half an hour because it became too hygienic, and then he's so afraid of dirt. So then I helped him do therapy for 6 years, still ongoing. And at least he finished his degree. He finished a degree and then back to normal life. So phobia is the next one. So phobia means we are scared of snake or we are scared of certain things because we have some, remember,